Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly Go Master today, because today we are carrying on with our ongoing campaign playing Fantasy Flight Games / Edge Studios, Legend of the Five Rings. And with me today are the stars of our Lament for Lovers and Liars campaign. I'll go with the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing today? First up, we've got Sean.
Hey, I'm playing Agasha Jinsaburo, a Dragon Clan Shugenja, who is trying to make his name as a Emerald Magistrate Investigator.
Nice. And with him as well is his stalwart fellow magistrate, is James.
And I'm playing Doji Gorobe, a Crane Clan warrior who's a hedonist and cheerful man who's also trying to earn his daily crust as a Emerald Magistrate. Nice.
Now, guys, last time we picked up last time. It's been about a month since we played last. So, as a reminder, the session before that was the chase on the rooftops, where there was a witness, or a Ronin who was supposed to be a witness, was murdered. And it led to a rooftop chase that was ultimately, unfortunately, unsuccessful due to some crafty application of caltrops as against our stalwart Agasha Shugenja. And the beginning of last session was with you guys picking up in the aftermath, going back to speak to the Yoriki, who had captured this witness and who was supposed to be holding him safely. So what do you recall as having happened last time?
For my part, I thought it ended up that I went to visit the Imperial bodyguard officer.
Yep.
And ended up speaking to his wife instead.
Yes.
And
that was Toyoza's wife.
I managed to get her to, well, she was hiding something, so we were playing a bit of chase around the houses on that until she finally broke down and admitted I think she was being blackmailed by apparently these, originally one of the Ronin, then later the second. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember what she was being blackmailed about. She was providing something to...
Yeah. She didn't get into particulars about that, but what she said was that originally it was for information, but about 6 months ago it started being demands for money as well as information.
And then it went back to just information.
And then it went back to just information, correct.
So the missing piece is, what was the information?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, was I with my sister?
You met with your sister, and you guys came to a bit of an accord.
Yeah.
Both of you, all three of you, yourself and Kitsuki Kita, were all provided invitations from your supervisor, effectively, the Miramoto Danjuro. He was going to call you in because you guys were all being reassigned.
So we're on traffic duty now?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And she was impugning my reliability and openness.
Oh, yeah.
She definitely did that 2 sessions ago.
She's been doing that, I think, multiple times. I think she's got a habit going on it.
Yeah. But you had an opportunity, Jinsboro, to discuss that with Kita, with your what you had uncovered. Do you remember anything about your conversation with her?
I guess that our situation of possibly all being reassigned gave us a little bit of common cause, extra common cause, more than usual, and her try to impugn Gora Bay. She didn't really have anything on that. It's just all very
Well, and that was, I think, more 2 sessions ago than it was last time, because last time was she had called into question the fact that it's clearly a crane artisan who made that that thing you found at the murder scene, and she was she apparently has uncovered what Gorobe is known for, which is to kind of be a fixer for what do you call it, for the Crane clan, for those who slip. I actually, because of Andor coming out this week, I watched Michael Clayton again, and Gorobe is kind of the Michael Clayton of of the world of the Crane clan in Otis and Uchi.
So good. I've always thought, it's good as a one-off, but I was hoping there'd be a sequel. That was such a good movie. Gosh, what did we? I don't really remember the conclusion of she and I. We're getting along, and
I think the agreement was that this reassignment, that there was more to uncover in this mystery. If you uncovered the blackmailing of how does the blackmailing of a Imperial Guardsman's wife link back to some gambler in the Toshi Soto in the outer district of Otis and Uchi?
And so we've all met up again. So Gorobe has updated us about all that. Okay.
You were I think where we left things off was with the 3 of you in the Echo Hikai in the inner district in Otis and Uchi. Let's actually take a look at our screen for Otis and Uchi as well. Where are we here? Boom. The bustling streets. And you're about to head into this. What she had, I believe, said before or near the end of the session was that there's clearly more manipulation going on here than there was. Then to have the 3 of you involved in the investigation of the death of a Ronin is a bit unusual anyway, and then to suddenly have all 3 of you yanked off of it. What do you guys make of that?
Well, the person that we have always suspected, given the nature of the assassin, that it was someone connected, very connected, and so this just matches with that. This is that someone has enough juice to the same kind of person that has the juice to have a shinobi assassin is the same kind of person that perhaps, even more so now confirmed, could yank us off a case because we were finding out things. So something in there, right? There was anything else, James, that...
Well, the strange thing is, though, that somebody seems to have used influence to get us on the case, and now somebody's using the influence to get us off the case, which seems a bit contradictory. So unless there are 2 people playing power games...
I mean, I suppose that they could have. I guess it doesn't really match with her with Kutsuki Kita. But as far as me, I'm a first timer, so maybe they would assign me, given that I'm a little bit of an oddball as a dragon and
baby's first brutal murder.
Yeah, and fresh and a rookie that maybe, just theorizing, it's possible they chose me because of that inexperience. If you're gonna have one anyway, you might as well have the new guy. Maybe I'm just
But
not
3
sure
of us, 3 of us is a bit overkill.
It's true. Right. Yeah.
But anyway, we get some lots of traffic cops. So.
Yeah.
Hey, slow that pound king down.
Right. Those rickshaws. Come on now.
So what we're going to be heading into is going to be an intrigue. So if you intend to, I guess we've used an intrigue once before with that drinking contest with the crab. By contest, I mean you really didn't want to have any drinks with him, and he was intent on you staying or getting in a fight. But this will be the first time that you may be going in attempting to learn something further. So what you want to do, bear in mind for this, it's played out very much like what any of the other conflicts are. So it's just like the combat or the chases or whatever. What we are doing is you're going to keep in mind an objective, and then I'm on page 254 of the CRB if you guys are interested in following along. And then on each turn, you will do the same thing you do in any other conflict. You choose an approach. You can choose to move a short distance within the scene, and then you can perform an action. But the intrigue actions are a little different from the others, and I would suggest you take a look if you have any of the, what are they called? The social techniques. Shuji. The Shujis are things that you can make use of. I think, Gorbe, you might have one just because of your crane background. You may both have one from your school. And what you want to be doing is, on your rounds, you will be taking one of those steps to try and, position someone, and we use strife to sort of gauge the level of success, but we can also use this is where those collateral spends for opportunities can be quite useful, because you can learn things or whatever else. So we're thinking this in a very metagame way right now, but what are your goals from this meeting? Like, are you planning on just going along with the reassignment, or do you wish to try and have some get some sense of where these waves of fortune are pushing you, and to see if you can, take some ownership or some control over your fate?
I mean, I would think it at a base level, the first thing would be to find out who, since we maybe get a better, why is kind of inferred, but I would say who would be the base level, maybe with a fine tuning on why. Obviously it's a cover up and they don't want us to get too close, is the inferred why, and then, if possible, we could have some control over it. I'm not sure I really even thought that was a possibility, but yeah, if that's, we can look into that, and if we think we have some, to gather some control over it would be in there too. It would be a final level.
Yeah,
Gorbe, what do you think?
I guess we'll do
hi to
that.
everyone too. Sorry, Gorbe, anything to add?
Oh, no, I guess I'll go along with that. That makes sense.
Okay.
Appeal to a person.
Yeah, and then what they say, so there are different things. What I'll suggest is that we set different kind of the easiest way to sort of force someone in a blunt way to do something that you want to do is to just push them to the point where they're so stressed that they have to unmask or go along with you. The way that you can also do is generating momentum. Momentum is just successes in excess of what what's needed. So if there are other things like what I'm going to suggest is we can maybe use our action bars here. Let me see if where's my Denjuro picture? Because I can use that as a token.
What abilities you were saying before, Kevin? It was ninjutsu? Is that what you were saying?
It is, Shuji.
Shuji.
Wait, are the Shuji...
Well, ninjutsu would work as well, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe, hold on. I saw that as the first thing. I might be confusing them. Let's see here. There's proposal. Those are the rituals. Yeah, Shuji. The Shuji are the social techniques. Leveraging the most powerful of human tools, communication. They can be used as intrigues, duels, skirmishes, and other types. I thought that you guys each had at least one of those. I wanted to bring it to your attention, so you're aware that you've got at least some other tricks in your bag o' tricks.
I don't see them listed under techniques. Where would they be?
They would be under techniques. Shujis are techniques,
Yeah,
just like invocations, just like kata, just like the ninjutsu tricks.
Oh, I see them now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
Yes.
you would have been. Let's see here.
I do not have any Shuji listed on my character sheet.
It could very well be that you don't have them. I thought that each of the schools usually got one, but maybe it was one of
I
those.
was wondering about taking, but didn't.
Oh, okay, there you go. So you guys are coming in, woof, a little out of your depth. This is not your battlefield. Oh yeah, you don't start with looking at
Our schools.
Agash's. Yeah, do not, and the
More of a Curdy, a courtesan, or not courtesan, but a.
It is, but all. I mean, the nice thing with this edition of the game is that you can certainly take advantage. It doesn't mean you're not capable of doing that. Again, if you lean into your approach, just like in combat or in some of the other scenes, if you lean into the approaches that you are more useful at, then you'll see a mechanical benefit from that. But there's also, you can make free use of your void points to try and get bonuses, and this is an ideal opportunity in these role-playing heavy scenes to try and trigger your passions or your anxieties or your adversities.
Yeah, and I will say that it really wasn't on my radar. So after something like this happens, I'll take a look for the future. Yeah. But I wasn't really thinking, on purchasing. I didn't,
and you only have so many points to go around too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But okay, so let me just set this up here. So we've got our. So you guys can see the numbers. So I'm going to set up 3 bars in here, and I'll set them all equal to his. Let's see here. I'm going to set them equal to his composure, but some of the other ones. So if you're trying to force him into doing something, it's going to be the red bar. And nope, Madison didn't set this up right. There you go. You guys can see the empty bars now. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what? And I think what I'll assume is that. So we're not rolling for Kita as well. Too. Kita will be assisting either of you or each of you on your turns. So when you guys make rolls, you'll also be able to make a roll with an extra skill dice. So,
okay.
What is it that you wish? What is the proposal? I guess the reason I set up 3 different bars is the 2 smaller ones, the green and the blue. Those are going to be easier. Those will be uncovering stuff. So if you want to try and socially maneuver to try and uncover something about Denjiro, that's what you can use those for. If you just want to convince him to this is the Rokugani equivalent of you guys. Slamming your badge on the desk and saying, you can't take me off this case. I'm off this case. Or something similar, trying to convince him to keep you on or whatever. So do you have maybe two bits of knowledge that you might want to work towards before we jump into the scene?
So the who, who's doing this? Who's pulling the strings, I think. And I guess the who and the why. Like I was saying, the who and the why, that who's doing it.
So, but what if he doesn't know, though? Isn't the first step, does he know he's being manipulated?
Yeah, I guess it's the why, and can we avoid it? Because reasons.
Okay.
Because we can bet he's not going to tell us. Even if he knows, he's not going to tell us who done it. But, well, first of all, we need to get him to acknowledge that something's happening, right? Before we can ask him who's making it happen.
I mean, unless it's, it could be something mundane. It could be a mundane person in his, the person he's aware of could be someone mundane in his chain of command.
Well, and if they're good at it too, the sort of mob tactics of shame that something happened to your clan if you didn't do X, Y, Z, that is what the most unskilled and unsophisticated manipulators would be doing. For the truly skilled in court, like the Crane or the Scorpion, they will convince you to be doing things where you didn't realize you're being convinced, and you're doing it for some other. You're certain that it's the right approach, and you're certain that you've reached that conclusion yourself.
Yeah, I mean to try to recruit him a bit. I mean, in other words, to convince him something's going wrong. That's going to be, Oh yeah, that's not information though. That's that's changing his mind. But
what I would allow is the way we're we're incorporating the role playing part of it too. Is that's where we'll modify. We'll use situational modifiers for difficulties and such. So, like, if you present a compelling argument or some, interesting evidence or something like that, then perhaps that would adjust the difficulty of being able to affect him. So.
Alrighty.
All right, then. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, and you can also observe, too. You can draw out and study someone else's nature by accumulating momentum points equal to exceeding the difficulty value of the objective on the appropriate social skill checks against that target. Huh, interesting. Okay. Then, if there's... Kitsu says to you, or Kita, forgive me, says to you, then, what do we propose? Do we suggest that there is more to be uncovered here for whatever the reassignment may be? Or do we take this?
Yes. I mean, we're obviously, we suggest that we've obviously made significant progress, that there's still also obviously room to go, and to take us off the case now would to some substantial degree derail the investigation, which is proven, I think, that we'd make the proposal, has proven that this is no ordinary situation, that there is things to be discovered, that this is a bona fide, there is good reason for an Emerald investigators to be on this. Like, we're not wasting our time. I think that's been proven.
Yeah.
And yet there is more to uncover. So I think those two things in combination, and then lastly, to remove us at this point, would seriously derail it. I'm not saying no one else could do it, but we're right in the thick of it here. Why not let this play out to its fruition of something very serious has occurred here, and occurred at a serious level. Like this involves not only gang members, which is not to be sniffed at, but also some kind of higher level criminal actors here that need to be uncovered, akin and appropriate for Emerald magistrates to pursue.
Okay.
I think those combined elements are compelling. I tell her.
Okay. She nods in agreement, and she says, for once, brother, we are in complete agreement. Then, shall we to dinner?
Indeed.
So, you guys head in once again to the magistrates' residence. There are a number of different, I think, magistrates who make use of these facilities, but you were let in, and you find that it is a small enough venue for only the four of you to be enjoying your dinner together. As you come in, he is kneeling and looking out. You may remember there's that Zen garden that you guys were walking through outside, or whatever the Rokugan equivalent of Zen Buddhism is, the fortunist Buddhism, I guess. And he is standing outside, or Shinto. It'll be Shinto. The Shinto garden. He is kneeling, and he sees you come in, and then while not turning around, he gets up and turns to you. Jinjiburo-san, Gorobe-san, Kita-san. And he bows low. Thank you for joining me for dinner.
Of course. Not looking at his name. No, I am. What
do you want to put on the token so it's easy? Yeah. Same reason I get you guys to put your names under the things. We only spend time with these folks once every 2 weeks.
Nurumoto Danjuro.
Yeah. Head of the class for James.
I wrote it down for once in my life.
So Danjuro comes in, and what you guys can do immediately, as if you'd like, is to see if you can. I think it is. Here's my DM screen. I think this is perhaps my favorite and most used DM screen of any game I run right now. It's just got again list of skills. I really wish any skill-based game put that fucking list of skills on there, because I don't want to open up a character sheet.
Yeah.
So let's see here. I think this would be probably psychology, and yeah. So I think many of these could apply. Like recall could be from your previous dealings with him. Survey, see if there's anything unusual about the circumstances or him. Theorize, just to speculate wildly. To analyze with air to see if there's anything specific about him, or just rely in the void, become one with nothingness, and try and see if the Tao will tell you what is what is wrong with this, or what has changed in him. What do you guys think?
I don't see those skills, but I'd be going for sentiment, I guess, to try and judge from his body language if he's... What is he?
Oh, sentiment, yes, forgive me. Sentiment is the skill I'm talking about. Yeah, so it'd be sentiment with any of those things. Let me see if this is... I think it's on page 1. It says 144 on my DM screen. Let's see if that lies.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the sheet. This is the thing on the DM screen on page 144 that I always use.
Mm-hmm.
Super helpful for just figuring out what what specific expertise and what approach.
Yeah.
So what I was looking at was in the third box down, or third row, sentiment. You're absolutely right, James. And then any of those approaches. What do you guys? Whichever you feel is appropriate. We'll set his focus at a. Yeah, 4.
I guess it'd be air, unfortunately.
Okay.
I would
To
probably
analyze him and try and read his...
Oh, hold on, it's vigilance is what I need. Yeah, his vigilance is a 4.
Okay.
Okay.
I think one of Jinzaburo's go-to that I think he would do here is his dragon. The dragon part of him would be void, and I think he's going to go to void. Okay.
And remember, you each get a extra skill dice from this thanks to Kita's assistance.
Very good. All right.
You're going to be indebted to her one way or the other.
Right. Indeed. Let's see. So, yep, sentiment void.
Okay.
And we have our void points to consider.
You have your void points to consider as well, too. An extra rolled and kept ring dice. All right, Gorabe, what do we got here? So you can keep up to 2 of those. You got right there. 2 so far, plus an exploding dice. Jinsboro, you can keep 2 of those, and only 2 successes with what? And you're in void. What ring are you in, Gorabe?
Air.
Air. Okay. Yeah. So you, depending on how those exploding dice go, you might be able to eke a success out. I think you're kind of hooped there, Jinsaburo.
What number did we need?
4.
4.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a...
And that's one of the things you can affect as well. I mentioned before about the building up momentum and whatnot. You can actually try and, kind of like in the 2D20 games where you can create like a truth, if you can do something to try and affect him, you can bring that vigilance down. So,
right.
Gorobe. Oh, wait. It would be the skill dice you'd be rolling, not a...
Oh, right,
ring dice.
my
Yeah,
bad.
if you're going to keep that. Let's see here. Come on. 3 successes. Okay. So, as far as you can tell, these are just opening impressions. And Jinsboro, did you want to keep... you don't have to keep any of those dice. Like, you don't need to gain further strife. But you're free to if you'd like to.
I mean, I guess I could take the opportunity, right? I don't know if that would get me anywhere.
Mm-hmm. What are you thinking?
That's... What am I thinking? I'm thinking...
So here, if I can... go.
Yeah.
Guys. Hey! I think they fixed it. The displays, the handouts, when you clicked on handouts, they would always show up behind the cameras.
Oh.
It's fixed today. Both those just appeared in front of. Nice. Thanks, Roll20.
Let's see.
So, what are you thinking? Conflict and Void. During your next attack action, you ignore terrain quality. That's not super helpful. What about General Void? Choose a ring other than Void. Reduce the TN of your next check by 1 if it uses that ring. So maybe there's a gut instinct you're getting about him, about how best to approach this.
Probably that. I think that's it's not going to get any better than that at this moment.
What ring are you thinking then as your next?
I am thinking probably water.
Water, okay. All right. So then, neither of you can, unfortunately, his first impression, there is nothing that gives you any indication as to why. And he says, please sit. Once he has taken his place, kneeling at the table, and you each have taken your place as well, he says, perhaps we should deal with what might be seen as an unpleasantness to begin. Forgive me for sending the word of reassignment by way of scroll. There is a pressing matter with a very influential merchant or someone who has mercantile interests, and it is a matter that must be seen to be having. Well, that's not what he would say. What he would say is, and the magistrate's office is always eager and happy to assist those who are loyal servants of the Emperor. And the Emerald Throne. How have things proceeded in the investigation with the murder?
They have proceeded well, Denjiro-sama. We, I think, have uncovered enough to establish that it's proven that there are many layers to be discovered here. That this is no waste of time for and that the assignment of Emerald Magistrates was appropriate. It involves not just significant gang involvement, but strongly suggests with the kind of assassin we are talking about, some kind of the shinobi variety.
Forgive me, this was not a killing over gambling debts or a robbery?
No, indeed, Denjiro-sama. This is the assassin was from the roof, using a level of skill and tools of the shinobi to a high level that insists on someone of very high and obvious dishonorable abilities.
Okay, let's give some mechanical meat to that. Why don't you take an intrigue turn here, Jinsaburo? And so his target number would be his vigilance, which is 4, but there's 2 factors I think you've brought up. 1 is the evidence of assassination, and 2 is that this is not a simple murder. So we're going to drop the vigilance down to a 2. What are you trying to push him towards? Towards not reassigning you, which would be the 12, or towards uncovering some information? What are you thinking?
Let's push first, just to keep us on the job, right?
Yeah, that's where I was originally heading. Trying to establish the platform, the argument for that this is bona fide, this is real. This was justified, and it should continue the investigation.
Okay.
So yeah, I think so.
Okay. So why don't you let's see. What are you thinking is your approach here? Looking on page 257, you've got persuade is probably what you're trying to do here. Is it courtesy, command? some other skill, performance.
How about government?
Oh, yeah, not very good at
That
that.
it's appropriate that we should keep at it, given the involvement of a highly experienced assassin.
Let's see. I'm trying to figure out that plus what I'm any good at. If there's anything.
Yeah, charm is the water
courtesy?
approach.
Yeah, courtesy maybe with water.
Yeah, you've been quite formal with this. You've not been demanding anything, so I think that definitely fits. And then with water, and then you will get an extra ring dice from Kita. Kita perhaps nods and says, "It is clear that the investigation, what my brother says, is a fair and accurate summary of what has transpired in this investigation thus far." Okay, well, there's 2.
Yeah.
And you can keep 3 of those, actually.
Yep.
Okay. So.
I didn't. Let's see. And what did my water opportunity do?
All that is it reduces. Oh, it actually reduces by 1 more. Wait, no, hold on. What? Yeah, it reduces. So actually, it would be difficulty is only a 1.
Nice.
Yeah. So then, what you've got is which of those do you want to keep?
I mean, I think. Let's see.
I love the idea of you getting really worked up while you're doing this too, all that strife.
Yeah. I mean, I'm certainly keeping the successes. The only question is whether I keep the opportunity to pay for that strife for the opportunity. Yeah, you know what? I think I have to, because at the very least, water has removed 2 strife from yourself.
Yeah. But is there something you can do to help set up one of your colleague?
Yeah, perform the task efficiently.
Remove 1 fatigue in conflict. During an attack action, ignore 1 point of the physical resistance. Now, he doesn't have armor, as it were, in the social encounters. But what I would rule that as is maybe for 1 round, reducing his vigilance by 1. Same kind of a result you had with the void.
Okay.
Or you can do your stuff. I don't want to tell you how to spend your thing. I just want to make sure you're aware of all your opportunities. What are you thinking?
Yeah, and then there's there's one of water social. Add a kept ring die set to a opportunity result to your next social check before the end of the scene. That's another.
What are you thinking?
For I am.
Why don't you roll? If you're going to keep all of them, why don't you roll that? Roll another skill dice. Let's see what you get from that.
Yeah, I think I should keep that one.
So we did have last session where Gorabe had 3 explode in a row.
When somebody is assisting you,
they add
you also
either
get to keep you get an extra die, but you get to keep an extra die, don't you?
That's a good point. There's multiple things to assisting. I forget about that.
Let's see. It's
a big deal.
Is it an extra
I wasn't using that enough.
Let's see. We're going to make a check. Assemble assistance. Yeah, you can keep 1 extra dice when assisting. Yep, page 26.
Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
So actually, you're keeping 4 dice out of that. I mean, it doesn't help you right now, but...
Yeah. Okay, so I'll keep all 3, and here comes the reroll.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So that means you're going to get a minimum of 2 on the track, and it's going towards not reassignment.
Yes.
Okay. Boom. You guys can see that moving now, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Then what do you wish? So you get 3 strife out of this, and then what are you thinking of your opportunity?
So strife is blue, right?
Strife is blue, yeah. Fatigue is red, and your void dice are your green.
And I already had 4. Does that sound right?
You do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Jizaburo tends to run a little hot, it seems. Okay. So what is that opportunity going towards? Are you reducing your strife? Are you setting up yourself for next time?
I'm going to reduce my strife. It's gotten pretty high. I mean,
Okay.
I'm already at 7, so...
Yeah. Perhaps we're seeing you, like, you're leaning really far forward and your voice is starting to raise a little bit. Not to the point of, it being inappropriate, but you're getting a little worked up over this. Gorabe, would you like to say something or to make a...
I'll try and set a precedent around the fact of the involvement of Shinobi in the case means that we should be involved.
Yeah.
Let me...
So I think that... Holy smokes!
Well, that's a lot of opportunities, but
Yeah, my gosh.
it's not terribly useful.
Okay, we got exploding dice in there, and you can keep 4 of those because of the assistance.
Now that's an exploding ring dice, right?
Yeah, it's exploding ring dice, yeah. That's a lot of strife, too. Okay, so you got your 2 successes out of that. If you're keeping that... Well, I mean, you have to keep that one because you re-rolled it. But you can keep up to 3 others. What are you thinking?
Does Kensuke make that 4, or is that already in the...
Yeah, it's 4. I can keep 4.
But I was just counting the one that he's re-rolled, because you have to... You pick the exploding dice as the one to keep, and then you re-roll it.
Oh, 3 others. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
3 others, yeah.
Yeah.
3 others, yep.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 successes, and I guess, and 3 advantages.
Yeah. Okay. So you have 3 opportunities, and you get 1 stripe out of this. What are you thinking for the 3 opportunities? Anna says hi. Hi, sweetie.
Let me just get my... So, first of all, I've got 7 there. And again, my opportunities with water, remove 2 strife, do it more quickly, spot an interesting detail. Well, that's not very relevant.
You never know.
And conflict would be... Okay. Well, I guess I will take out 2 strife,
Okay. You have 2 more opportunities.
and I will spot something, a physical detail that's not otherwise available. Maybe something on his desk or something.
Yes,
Who
what
knows?
you see on the side is there is a stack of what looks like scrolls or pieces of correspondence that have come in, and you can clearly see that one near the top of the sort of pack there. Well, not near the top, at the top. It has the distinctive purple coloring of the Unicorn Clan. So, and let's see here. You got 2 successes on that, which means, for you, it was reduced from 4 down to 3. That actually might not have been a success then. Did you have anything else that was reducing his resistance? The Shinobi reference to the Shinobi definitely would reduce it by 1. Was there anything else that reduced his vigilance? I don't think, Jinzaburo, you didn't set him up, did you? Okay. Okay.
No, in that case, I didn't succeed.
Well, all it just means is that you didn't persuade him of anything. He nods and he says, "Well, as your Jinzaburo has made clear, that is an unusual circumstance. But what he will do is he says that this is as the first sort of bits of food are being brought in for the first course. He says that we have had a request from there is a magistrate. There is a samurai named Yuichi Shoko. I'll put that in chat for you. Yuichi Shoko owns a number of warehouses in Orosunuchi, and he believes there is a smuggling or robbery ring that is operating, that is many of his wares come from far in the north near the Unicorn Lands, quite exotic goods not available elsewhere. Shoko-san has a great deal of influence. He is a powerful presence if not in court, then in the town. And if there is something robbing him, that would be brazen and something that needs to be addressed. Now, what I'd like Gorbe first just to give us I think it's a culture and earth roll, please. The difficulty for this is only going to be a 2. I'd say a 1.
And am I getting assistance from
you can't from
sister-in-law?
She's been asking around about you, so I think she may be asking around about this as well. Yeah, certainly.
Okay, let's keep that look at it.
Okay. Gorbe, you get to keep 3 of those. Ooh, good roll. Holy smokes.
So I guess I re-roll the 2 exploding, right?
Yep.
So that's 2 skill dice.
Nice. Nice. Another skill dice
I've
exploding.
got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 4 successes.
So you got 3 next. Let's go ahead and re-roll that. Fortunately, the exploding, you don't get to choose whether to re-roll it. If you're picking the exploding dice, you
Right, it
have to
explodes
see
again.
where it goes.
Sorry, my bad.
Holy smokes. 5 successes. Which 4 did you keep? Or which 3 did you keep?
I guess I've got 3 from 1 dice at the start.
3 plus 1 opportunity. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 4 successes plus
1 advantage, and then I may as well take opportunity, and I may as well take 1 more opportunity and 1 more success.
Okay,
so
you got 6 successes.
5. Yep.
And wait, 1,
2
2,
opportunities.
3, 4, 5 successes and 2 opportunities. So and 1 strife.
And 1 strife.
Okay, so first thing is what's the saying? Crooked as a dog's hind leg. Yuchi Shoko is known quite well to you. He is perhaps one of the most accomplished smugglers in town. He has the guise of saying that he is part of, just part of the unicorn trading, sort of endeavors. And the unicorn, not all unicorn are like this, but this fellow, he is most definitely a corrupt motherfucker and uses the speed of the unicorn caravans, the mobility of their cavalry, or at least their trained riders, and his incredible wealth to really flaunt. His money is behind a lot of things, or at the very least involved in a lot of very sundry things. In the time that you've spent in Otis Anucci covering for some of the indiscretions of your allies, most definitely Shoko has been on the other end of this. And I think you may have had dealings with him. Without as many successes, I'll let you decide what your dealings with him were. Whether you're on a friendly basis, where it's there is an animosity there, he may fear you. And then you also have 2 opportunities.
Just stepping out of character and everything. So how come somebody's that well known as being corrupt and a merchant within a samurai clan?
Well, what this tells us is that you know that quite well. It doesn't mean it's extremely well known. And there are all sorts of people who are known to be less than honorable, but what are you going to do about it? Like this, the society needs to function, and who would be the one to stand up and tell him to step down? The Rokugan of the in practice is very different from the idealized one that's depicted in poems and so forth.
Okay, so I guess I would say that my advantages got to the fact that I am quite well involved with them, and they think I am manipulable.
Nice.
When I actually know.
Okay. Yeah, so then that will if you deal with Shoko whatsoever, then I will let you. You'll have some substantial advantages with him that will carry forward. You'll be able to, like, for instance, if you're manipulating him or whatnot, his vigilance will be treated as much lower than it would be for anyone else.
Very cool.
Okay, you also have your 2 opportunities, and I think you used Earth this time.
Yep. So.
I think you can remove 2 strife from someone else. You can recall.
Yeah, I may as well do that. I'll remove 2 strife from. I got.
There's also an opportunity for 2 opportunity. Suddenly recall an important piece of information not directly related to the task.
Oh, okay. That's probably Jin Sabura's going to explode anyway, so why bother?
Why am I even watching the spoiler? We know it's going to blow.
So let's have this interesting other piece of information.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So
It's
I
outrageous.
think what you know is you know a courtier among the doji, not a leading, not like one of the heads of clans or whatnot, but you've got a contact with one of the doji who has had dealings with this guy in past for whatever his own indiscretions or interests are. He has an idea and seems to run in the he may be the one who introduced you to him in the first place, the Shoko.
So is he in which clan, the unicorn or crane?
Doji is the crane, one of the families of the crane.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. Yep.
Yeah,
My own.
exactly. The unicorn families are the Utaku, the Iuchi, and the Shinjo. The crane ones are Doji, Daidoji, Kakita, and what's the last one here? Isawa. No, not Isawa. Iuchi. Iuchi, that's not right. Which one is it? Asahina. All right. I'm trying to dig up memories from 20 years ago. So that's what what this is, he mentions his name as someone who you need to assistance with. Further to what Jinzaburo said before, his comment about, perhaps it's his first time in here, and he's maybe being assigned to, a relatively inconsequential murder investigation. What do you think the likelihood is of someone being involved in the initial investigation like that and suddenly being put onto investigating a robbery ring of a sort of, for those who are in the know, a well-known smuggler?
Well, I mean, seems highly unlikely, so...
Okay.
Now, that might suggest that this guy is somehow related to the first case. And so he may be the guy that's manipulate. Well, in fact, nobody else knows, but I'm going to be storing of the fact that he's behind the secret blackmailing.
Yeah. So he...
But Jinsaburo doesn't know that.
Yeah. So you nod as he mentions the name. Now I'm going to make a maneuver against you guys. So he is going to use... This is just a fairly straightforward command. And what are your respective vigilance scores? He's using Earth. He's just trying to reason with you.
Mine is 2.
It's 2, okay.
And I will...
Under conflict, it's listed those stats in the upper right under conflict.
All right, thank you. 3.
3, okay. So then... All right, so here we go. He seems to be trying to reason with you. So let's see if we can affect... all right, I got 3 successes. 4. 5. Okay. So then for Gorobe, You are going to unfortunately be taking 3 strife from this. This is a reflection, I think, of the frustration you are feeling of Danjuro is talking about the reassignment as if this is a done deal, and as if he's ignoring what you guys had recommended. Against you, Jinsboro, it's a 2. I succeed. You only take 1 strife.
Okay.
And he's not trying to incite you. He's just trying to reason with you. It just so happens that he's trying to get you to do something you don't want to do. So that's why we're reflecting it in the increase in strife. Now it's back to you guys. And we don't need to do this in order each time we can, if that's easier. But if either of you guys wants to suggest, he says, well, the corpse, the murder of this Ronin, I can reassign an individual. We can either have the Eureka keep up on this. Do you have any specific leads that we can follow at this time? Perhaps if I understood the state of your investigation, I could best judge where to assign it.
Let's see. I mean, due to our month off and all. So James, what was our leads? I mean, basically, let's recap kind of where we were, which I think our characters would be more fresh than we are. But so we went to that. We went to the precinct, and the witness, the so-called witness, obviously was killed. We chased the shinobi, lost him, but we don't really have a lead who it is. Oh, we have your wife, the wife of the.
But you don't know about that.
Okay, yeah, I just didn't. Oh, that's right. So I can't reflect on that. That's true. You would have to bring that up, not me, in the meeting.
Yeah,
but,
and then we just know the criminal leader in the district. It seems to be involved with it. But that somebody, I think the key thing is that it's obviously a highly skilled assassin, which means that it can't be what it appears to be.
Right. As far as like hot leads, let's see. Well, if you want to bring up your, I don't know if you want to bring up your.
That's not going to happen.
Okay. We have. We believe that a gang boss by the name of Yotaka is involved with this situation. He is the leader of the gambling house near where the body was found, and he set his thugs upon us when we went to his business to investigate.
So, your last spend was going to reduce his target number by 1, right? Your water spend?
It was, but I think we already did that. That's definitely correct. I just feel like we already spent it. We already did that.
Well, I mean, you haven't had a second rolled. You spent it so that it's the action you were taking. Like, it's not one that you benefit. Earth, I think, is the one that allows you to help someone else with their roll. If it was a water spend and it was your last intrigue action, then that would benefit you this round.
Maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe you're right. Although, you know what? Was that the one we discussed I was going to do, and instead I reduced my stress?
Oh, did you? Maybe you did. Okay. Yeah, so then you're at... So he starts at a 4, and he's going to go down to a 3 for his vigilance for this, because the prospect of a gang boss sicking people on a magistrate is... He's not crazy about that. So you will have a extra dice. What are you thinking as far as your actual action here?
Let's see. I guess we just
I've seen
stick
those
with it.
strife. The composure bars get higher and higher. We're getting closer to that slamming your die show on the table.
Right.
Take me off the case. I quit. I'm not on the case.
I don't know about Gorbet, but this is unacceptable. And the sister, like, oh God,
Yes.
this guy. Right. James, what do you think? Should we just stick with our drive, just not to get reassigned? Should I stick?
Yeah. Let's keep at it.
We'll probably just stick with it.
It's
I'll stick with
obvious.
it.
You can spend void points too.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah. I guess I'm not really shouldn't be saving it, so I'll probably spend it.
And recall one of your anxieties is delusions of grandeur. If you do that, I believe you lose 3 strife. If you trigger that one.
Remind myself what void points do.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about these.
Actually rolled and kept dice.
The chance to advance your glory was attempt to pursue it. You suffer 3 strife, right? You don't remove it.
Oh, but you get your void point back. So it's your passion. Provocation.
Provocation.
Lose 3 strife.
Oh, okay.
And your distinctions are subtle observer and playfulness, and subtle observer and travel.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly, yeah. I mean, I think it's probably a good call, that first provocation, and pressing him on, we can't let this get away. Like this is Emerald Magistrate material. Like it's proven a shinobi.
Yeah.
Seriously?
I don't know how you do things in the
right.
in Otis and Uchi, but back in the Dragon Mountains, if we are provoked by bandits, then let me tell you.
When a shinobi shows up in the mountains of the Dragon Clan, I know how we handle it there.
If you really want to play up the Dragon Clan, you can feel free to give us a parable, because they are sort of seen as monastic warriors, right?
Gosh, I mean, for Sean to do that, that's the challenge. Yeah, I like the idea of it. Man, I'll have to work on that. But yeah, I do think that first provocation is that is probably on point.
Okay.
So yeah, I will say my clan of the dragon, we are known as a meditative samurai, but when confronted with a dishonorable darkness such as a shinobi,
might I make a suggestion?
Oh, please.
Perhaps what if you thought of it in terms of a disharmony? If there is a disharmony in the serenity of your contemplation, one cannot ignore that lest it spread.
Yes, this is. This will send this kind of disharmony will send ripples throughout the city to let something of this high level darkness and dishonor stand.
Okay. So then, if you're provoking him, I think your approach is dictated then. But what do you think as far as your skill?
I mean, so courtesy is low-hanging fruit there.
Yeah.
Command, since he's higher level, doesn't seem appropriate. Since he's higher rank.
Yeah, I mean, and you're not being. You're still being deferential. You're not saying he's not doing his job. You're just making observations.
Right.
So
not yet.
Yeah, and you're trying to incite him with that. I absolutely buy that. So, and courtesy is something that Kita has as well. So you can roll with an extra dice.
Okay.
Or skill
extra
dice.
ring, is that correct?
Skill dice. She's trained in it, so it's a skill dice.
Okay. And then the question comes of ring, right?
Yep. Well, I think that approach, if you're inciting him, then that's probably
Fire?
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, sort of dictated by your provocation. So you can reduce let's start by reducing your strife by 3, though.
Yeah.
Because remember, with your fire approach, you can keep all your strife as successes as well.
Yep.
So go ahead.
Okay, I think that's good. There we go.
Okay. Now, remember, you have to make the decision on what dice are kept before you roll your exploding dice.
Sounds good.
Okay, so you can keep 4 of those.
4 dice, right? Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Okay, so I think this is easy. I'm keeping all the successes, and I'm keeping the opportunity without the strife.
Okay, so then what that means is you will have 5. Remember, each strife is a thing that pushes him towards each strife counts as a success in this, and each extra success counts as 1 more momentum towards completion of the task.
That's true.
1, 2, 3. That'd be 3 strife you get back, so you're sort of trading robbing Peter to pay Paul, as it were. It's a very common saying in Rokugan.
Yeah, we have to.
Lots of references to the apostles in the Tao Shinsei.
That's like robbing Utumara to pay Ryobi.
Exactly. So what are you?
Yeah. I'll keep the opportunity with the stress. Yeah.
Okay, so then give us reroll 1 ring dice, or roll 1 skill dice.
Skill dice.
Nice!
Okay.
Another success. There are 2 successes. All right, so you're getting 4 strife out of this, but first things first, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 successes on this.
See, Jinsaburo is better when he just gets hot. That's all.
He's got fired up. Yeah.
So
he got fired up. Pun intended. Right?
Look at this.
Yeah.
Boom! 6 is applied to him for the net successes. And what do you want to do with the opportunity?
And before I forget, you said there's 4.
1, 2,
4.
3, 4.
Right?
Yeah, 4 strife you're gaining.
Oops, wrong one. Wait. There we go.
There you go.
There we go.
So you got 1 opportunity in fire as well.
Okay. Let me see here. Fire. Let's see. So fire social, reduce the TN of the next social check another character makes before the end of the scene by 1. That seems like a no-brainer.
Beautiful.
No-brainer.
All right, so you
No-brainer.
really primed him. He's definitely amenable to this approach that you guys are suggesting. Like, look, we can't just leave this thing. There's all this stuff happening. So then, Gorabe, your turn to take a turn on the old intrigue wheel. What are you thinking?
Now, it has to be on a social skill, right?
No, I mean, look, in intrigues, you can do anything. You have to sort of convince me that it would be appropriate. I mean, putting him in a headlock may definitely give a, end up with a specific result, but it may not be the one that you're intending.
Okay, so as a social check doesn't have to be a social skill.
Not
It's just got to
necessarily,
be a
no.
social activity.
No, as long as you can
Okay.
justify sort of like what way it affects the outcome of the scene, then I'm fine to. I'm like drawing a katana.
Again, I'm going to go with the legal precedent. It's my new skill that I've just buffed up. So.
Oh, okay. So what are you saying? What are you saying then? Let's see if you can get.
So I'm just saying again, as Jinsaburo says, not only is it the way it's done in Phoenix Lands, it's also I've seen from, recent cases, as soon as the
Let me give you a little bit
Shinobi
of lore
involved,
to work
we need
with.
to do it.
If you want to, the sort of like Mos Eisley equivalent in Rokugan is a place called Ryoko Owari, the City of Lies. Unsurprisingly, in Scorpion Lands, it is a den of just an incredible amount of corruption and vice. If you wanted to sprinkle that as a suggestion that, we do this everywhere, but I mean, they certainly, Ryoko Owari is not as,
But they wouldn't be doing it there, but, we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard.
Yeah.
And certainly precedent here is that.
There you go. Great. So I'll reduce it down to a 2. Holy smokes, look at that roll. So you get to keep 4 of those. Which 4 are you thinking? And then we'll decide, and then you re-roll your exploding dice. If you keep that one.
Yep. So I'll keep the 2 successes without strife.
Okay.
And for a start, I guess I re-roll. I'll take the one that's exploding since that's got a hope of.
Oh, but then you have to make a decision of all the ones that you're keeping before you make your exploding roll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you pick your dice and then you make your re-rolls.
Okay, well, I'll keep the 3 successes, which with 1, and then the 1 exploding success.
Okay.
So that'll give me 1 strife after that, or 2 strife after that.
2 strife after that. So you will be compromised after this, but let's see what the result is. Give us a ring dice re-roll.
Oh, yeah, that's ring dice.
Oh, and an opportunity as well.
Now, so that means I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 successes.
Yep.
And I think I'm going to use my opportunity to just bring down my strife by 2, so it keeps me back where I was at 9.
Okay. So
James going to feel better about screaming at the man if Gorbei is screaming at the man.
Well, Gorbei is definitely, he's definitely very close to, getting. It's clear you're both invested in this too, and I think he can probably see that as well. So then maybe what he'll do with his response is to try and remind you of your duty here. So it will be. What approach are we going to use here? He was trying to reason with you last time.
So now he's just going to be a dick.
I think he's going to actually use... No, he's going to try and charm you. And... that means 3 and 3, okay. And so, Gorbei, your vigilance is a 3. What he's going to try and do, basically, is he's not going to give you just more strife. I think I'll say every success over your thing is he's going to use that to increase his... He seems like he's almost trying to trump, like, guys, we have to do this. What he says to you is I don't disagree that there is an importance... that there is difficulty, there is something going on with that, but it does not take, if there is a plot involving a single Ronin and his death, does not take precedence over what may be an organized activity to rob one of the most wealthy families living in Otosanuchi.
Well, I'll point. While you're going to roll, I'll point out actually 2 Ronin, 1 killed in Yoriki custody.
Those are 2 grains of millet versus a pearl. Is I think what he might say. And let's see how he does here. So against you, Gorbei, I rolled only 1 success. So I can, I've got 2 opportunities. Let's see. So he's going to be completely susceptible to you, Gorbei, and whatever, ways that you have. His vigilance remains at a 4. And let's see here. That's a 2 with water. It's not going to spot something. See if I can do something to make life more interesting for you guys. Let's see. Water. He's going to attack you. Ah!
That would be unexpected.
Yeah, it would be unexpected. Let's see. He is going.
Yeah, him putting Gorbei in a headlock. There you go. That would be that'd be strange.
Yeah, I think he is going to. He's going to keep opportunities with you for next time. It's not really. Or hold on. What's the basic spends here? He realizes that the way to get to you is not through charming or trying to reason with you. It's time to fucking, like, you're doing this kind of stuff. So he has a better insight as to how to approach you next time. He is still going to try and charm you as well, Jinsaburo. Now, rules is written for those listening at home. You generally can't, like, they would get 1 action, but I don't know. It's a game. We can make it whatever we want for us. So rules is written, I'm breaking them. So let's see here. Denjiro. Denjiro has got a 2. Yours is a 2. I got 3 successes. So, and 1 strife. He's getting a little agitated by this. So what that means is for you, Jinzaburo, his vigilance will count as a 5 for this next pass as a starting point. So he is really sort of trying to like shut down the conversation. This is really what we need to do. You certainly are still able to persuade him, and you seem on the cusp of it. Like that may be why he's digging his heels in, is because you're getting so close to convincing him.
His vigilance is still a 4 for me?
His vigilance is still starts at a 4 for you, starts at a 5 for Jinzaburo, and then if you guys use situational modifiers or role playing or whatnot, it can then go down from there. Or if you just attack him. I mean, you know, you're pretty good with that, Yari. So it is now once again back to you guys. Which of you would like to make the next pass? Looks like you're only 2 off from convincing him.
Gorbet?
Yeah, 4 is pretty tough to get past there.
I'm on a 5 though.
You still have a void point, which gives you a rolled and kept ring dice.
True.
Okay, so let's go for that then, and I'll again use my things.
Oh.
Well, it's not a kept ring dice; it's a kept dice. Full stop. So if you happen to roll better on one of your other things,
Yeah, that's no good.
so you have the extra. What are you thinking? What are you going to say? Is there anything you're going to suggest or bring to his attention, or try and frame that will affect his that vigilance? And I'm happy to have you indulge in any kind of creative stuff too.
Oh, well, I guess I'll suggest. I mean, surely we can't be seen to be letting, even where the difference in rank, murder has still surely got to outstrip mere base commercial interests.
Definitely bring it down to a 3. Anything else you wish to say? That's a very valid point.
And
I really want to do this.
Particularly if, you know, it may be that a gang leader who not only assaulted us, but has actually got access to high-ranking assassins. I mean, it could just be that the criminals are now getting into this and eliminating members of the samurai class at this rate. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
This cannot be tolerated.
Yeah, that's down by another 1 for sure. So his vigilance would now be a 2. Anything else you wish to bring to attention, or is that what you're going to roll against? Both very good points as well.
And I feel, you know, you of a man, an upstanding man, would realize that I, as a Emerald magistrate, cannot just walk away after an attempt after my life. I need to resolve this as a matter of honor, and it is an honor of the magistrates themselves.
Yep. I think by calling in, that touches on 2 things. That touches on the personal honor of the samurai. He's asking you to bear a dishonorable thing. So just on a personal Bushido level, that is something he would definitely sympathize with. And the office of the magistrates being under attack. So it's a 0 you're rolling against. You just need to get 1. Whatever successes you roll on this are going to be applied directly to this.
I've got the 3 successes. That was my roll.
Yeah, he threw it. You
already rolled. Okay, sorry, I didn't realize you rolled. Okay, so then you've got 1. Yeah, so which of those do you want to keep?
So I'll keep the 3 successes, and
because you can keep
1
6 of them.
Opportunity. 6 of them.
Yeah, because sorry, you're rolling the extra things. You can keep 5 of them in total.
Oh no, yeah, I can get 5, can't I? So
yeah.
I will keep the 3 successes and 2. I always forget the term. Advantages. opportunities.
Okay, so what are you doing with the opportunities? Oh, it's because of so much time with Star Wars, right? Fantasy Flight Star Wars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll take out my blaster, and that's the end of this discussion.
Boring conversation anyway. Chewie, well, company.
So what can I do with my 2?
You were in water stance, I think, again.
Yep.
Yeah. You reduce strife. For sure.
Well, yeah, that's what I definitely need to do, I think. Can I use both of them for strife?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll lose 3 because I added 1, so I'll lose 3.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There is that one that add a kept skill die set to an opportunity result to your next social check for the end of the scene.
With 3 successes, you will have pushed it. You'll push the it over the threshold, so you're actually going to succeed here on this, just from a metagame perspective.
I was just thinking for the other things. There's some other information goals, right? That could be.
Oh yeah. That's right. It's not over yet. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now that we've cracked, if we've cracked him on the,
So yes.
I'll rely on your sister-in-law support there. I want to get my. I like to be under control.
Okay, so you got 2
go.
under that, and so the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you still have. Oh no, you spent the 2 opportunity. Okay, so then you see his shoulders slump, and he sort of bristles, I think, and nods. And says, I believe you are right, Gorobe-san. And Kita pipes up and says, if I might, Denjiro-san, perhaps the answer is to simply agree to both. And he looks at her like, and he says, my brother has found though new to the city, he has found an erstwhile guide in Gorobe, and they have seen much progress in those in their investigations thus far. I have not required such assistance. Perhaps you could assign myself to commence the investigation into Shoko-san's troubles. And when they have concluded with their investigations, my brother and Gorobe-san could then assist me in furthering the investigation. You feel a little bit of wheedling in your side there, Jinzaburo. Denjiro nods. It will be so then. I trust, Kita-san, that you will give full attention, the attention necessary for this. And she smiles, that smile that just drives you fucking nuts, Jinzaburo. And, it's more of a smirk from your perspective. And she says, I will commence immediately, with your leave, Denjiro-san. And he nods. She turns and she smiles a look at you. And I don't think they do this in Rokugan, but it really fits that she gives you a little wink, Jinzaburo, and then heads out, leaving you guys with...
in this case, it's actually kind of, we're on the same team, and it's kind of a strange, usually I hate it, and I kind of hate it still, but at least it's, it's like the jackass, at least they're your jackass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the what I will allow is with the priming of the pump, as it were, with her too. You guys can continue to benefit from her assistance with this, because he is Denjiro's a formidable, what do you call it? Formidable courtier. Let's do this. Let's have Jinzaburo make one more move for his turn, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll talk about how many turns you have left. So I think what we'll do is we'll set an amount of like maybe 2 or 3 more turns, and then that'll be it. Whatever you can achieve in that time, you've achieved. Otherwise, you will be left. So for this round, Jinzaburo, what are you thinking?
I'm going to try to turn now that he's convinced to that, trying to pivot off that to getting him to think about it from his perspective of, hey, boss, who do you think would perhaps fit this profile? So he's going to be saying something like, this shinobi, have you come across in your greater experience anyone in the city that has used shinobi like this? So try to bring in his obvious superior knowledge and experience, and I'll try to, give him some props and stroke him a little and see if he can.
Well, I think this is not necessarily towards like, unless he is aware of who that is, then he may not be able to, achieving one of the goals that we've got in this intrigue may not be able to shed light on that. I mean, he may very well be a master behind this stuff. What better way than to, keep your magistrates busy with a bunch of nonsense while you do your own stuff. But what he might be able to do, though, is give you some ideas for further leads in this. So, this is actually, I don't think this will be, all right. I don't think this will be an actual target on his intrigue. Let's say this is a target number 3. This will be a difficult task. And what are you thinking? You're going to get assistance from your sister. Can more than one person assist, or is it only one other party that can assist?
I think it's one.
Is it one? Okay.
Well, I may be wrong there, but
Let's see here. Limits on assistance. Yeah, so it's pretty open for it. So I think what I'll let you do is, depending on what approach you're thinking here, you may have the benefit of your sister. Gorabe could assist as well. What skill are you thinking here? What approach are you thinking, Jinsboro?
Well, I'm stroking him, so I mean, courtesy continues to.
So
stand.
what we're sort of actually rolling here, because what you want is the name of some. You want the name of some, suggestion of a person he might know. Again, courtesy is to try and convince him to know if he knows the name of someone. What the specific person behind it. I think that what you're ultimately trying to do is get information about something. It's probably skullduggery.
Okay.
Because it's criminal organizations and activities is what you're thinking, right? That's the meat of what you're trying to get into.
I mean, whoever, perhaps. I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, either that or someone of the of the samurai class that is obviously strode, way into the dishonorable side of.
In which case, that would be skullduggery, right?
Okay.
Right, because that would be criminal or.
Sounds good.
Okay, and what approach are you thinking?
I am thinking. I would say, I think this is a gregarious kind of. So I could probably water.
Water, okay. So water and skullduggery, you're going to get. Let's see here, 2. Gorby, did you spend your void point before?
no, I've still got mine.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't either. I think I'm going to go ahead and probably just.
Oh yeah, no, I did. Sorry, I did.
Okay, I thought so in the last one. So then you could do that. You're going to get 1 ring dice, 2 ring dice, 2 extra ring dice from assistance.
Okay, and I'm going to spend I'll go ahead and spend my void now.
Okay. So you're going to keep 3 extras, it looks like. Well, I mean, all the ring dice plus 2 extras. So, and then whenever you are ready. Difficulty is 3.
The void's a ring? Yeah?
Ring dice, yes.
Okay. So, here we go.
Go. Oh, boy. All right. Now, hold on. You actually should have had 2 extra skill dice in that. Do you have any training in that yourself, in skullduggery?
I have 1.
Okay, so actually roll 2 extra skill dice then. Well, hold on. What is your ring in that?
You know what? Then maybe I rolled the wrong dice because I
think so. What's your ring? Your ring is a 2?
My ring is a 2.
So it'd be 2, 1 extra 1 for the void point, 2 extra skill dice for the assistance, and then your own skill. So maybe roll that again, but with 2 skill dice and 2 extra skill dice, 1 extra ring dice. There you go. All right. And you will be able to keep 4 of those. What are you thinking?
I am thinking...
You definitely can get yourself to that 3.
Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess the all of the unless I want an opportunity. No, I'll probably take the 3 skill dice and the ring die that's a success without the strife.
Okay. So you get 2 strife and give us 1 more skill dice roll for the exploding.
Yep. Okay. Coming up.
Nice. Okay, extra success, and you got an opportunity.
You don't see those very often. That combo right there.
No. So what are you... I guess first off, he does have a name for you. So what is it you... maybe let's do this first. What are you thinking as far as your opportunity spend is going to be?
Let's see here. I have 2. No, just 1, right?
Just 1 opportunity. Yeah.
Yep.
You do have
and this
2 strife you're gaining from this.
Yep.
Oh boy, you're compromised. So.
Yep.
Maybe that spend is pretty easy to decide.
Maybe I'm excited. Let's see. Yeah. Right, because water. Yes, I think that's a no-brainer. Yep. So I'll spend it to bring myself down to an 8.
Okay. So what he says to you is, you ask about that, and he says the district that you were in. I know of one clan that, while they will not admit to such dishonorable conduct, it is an open secret. The scorpion's sting is visible for all to see. And it's said that there is, I know in that district, the previous magistrate reported that there was a member of the Bayushi family named Rumika, who was regularly seen among the gambling dens and other dishonorable houses. And you actually...
The dude we saw
met Rumika. He was drinking with your crab friend. Where is he? Hida Ukayo. I cannot speak to whether the shinobi would be in service to him, but if someone were to wish access to such dishonorable assassins, I imagine that would be the man you would speak to.
This Rumika.
Bayushi Rumika. And did you say out loud, Gorobe, that this is the man that you met him?
No.
Okay.
No, just me.
Okay.
Always assume that Gorobe never says anything out loud.
All right. So with this, why don't we're well past our mid-session break. Why don't we take our mid-session break right now? And then we'll come back, and then we've got... we'll cruise into... Hold on. We started at 11. Yeah, we still got another hour of play. Okay. I was going to say, I'm losing track of when we're starting, when we're finishing. So for those listening at home, we'll be back momentarily. All right. So well done on the first leg of the social encounter.
Yeah, that was a key turn there.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to take a look in Courts of Stone. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Courts of Stone is the like social source book to see if there's other suggestions for spicing up intrigues. And I'll bet you with the Shuji, you probably have even more to do in those types of scenes, right? Mm-hmm. We can do.
I'll take a look at those.
Yeah. Too many good options. So, all right then. What do you guys wish to do now? So you have convinced him to give us a summary where we are in this intrigue. You have convinced him to allow you to continue on with the investigation. You've also secured the name of who he thinks may have supplied the shinobi for hire. What do you guys wish to do next? You can at this point you've got your reassignment, so you're certainly able to leave the intrigue without suffering any further consequences. But you can feel free to try and obtain further information from him if you like.
So my successes from last time, were they able to make any progress towards information gathering?
No, I mean what you're doing now. We're kind of out of, unless you intend to try and intrigue against him again, in which case he will be able to respond to you. You're sort of not in the actual conflict anymore. You're just using the scene to try and, like we would in other scenes where you're using skills to try and gather information. Okay. If you want to try and pressure, like what you haven't done so far is try to root out from him who it was who sort of tried to force the reassignment.
Gotcha.
You know, if there is someone beyond this Shoko, this Ayuchi Shoko character, but you certainly can try and do that too. But you still try and achieve those goals as well.
So this is kind of odd in a way, because I rather assumed that the new case was being triggered deliberately to pull us off. And therefore, that was probably the guy who was behind the. And I suggested to Danjuro that it was the crime boss that was arranging the shinobi, but I didn't actually believe that. I thought that was just a way of triggering him to do what we wanted. But, you know, the fact that this guy was hanging around in the gang den suggests that he is somehow involved with the gang boss. Potentially. So that's a bit of a surprise.
Well, let me ask you this. If the blackmail was being secured from a Crane clan member who was married to a member of the Sapun family, who do you think, we'll go back to our cui bono things, who would benefit from that blackmailed information?
Well, the Scorpion clan would be the stereotype, you know, the generic people who'd benefit most.
Most definitely. There is no greater adversary that the Crane has other than the Scorpion. Even the Lion at least are predictable of what they're doing, but the Scorpion are so deceptive, and they engage in the same. The Lion are not a problem because you can engage them on fronts that they are not suited to. They want to try and go to war with you. You could defeat them in court. The Scorpion, they fight in the same battlefields that the Cranes do.
So the other way of reading it is that he's not working with the crime lord, he's using the crime lord.
Meaning the Yotaka, right? Yotaka, yeah. Yotaka, you mean?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, hard to picture Yotaka being at the top of this pyramid, but we don't know. But hard to picture that. Let's see.
Yeah, and you guys can take a pause and think, is there any other goal you want to try and convince him to do that he would not otherwise offer up freely? That's really what the intrigue is for. It's a conflict because he doesn't want you to do what you want him to do. That's where, like, trying to, if there is, the Admiral Magistrates take their direction from others as well. If he doesn't want you to know who has assigned them to do this, to investigate Shoko's theft, or theft ring or whatever that was, then it would be an intrigue. But it may be something he might be willing to discuss anyway. Are there what other questions or bits of information do you guys think that you may gain from Danjuro now that you have an audience with him? I know you guys were intending on meeting with him anyway today. But is there anything else that you wanted to discuss with him apart from, trying to resist this reassignment?
What do you think about relationship between Uchishoko and Rumika, if any? Like connecting our reassignment with, is there a way to gingerly suggest with him on a professional level if there's any connection between our reassignment and the powers that be behind the first crime?
Sure. So again, like the reason I'm distinguishing, so you're, and maybe I made this clear before, but my thought is that I'm looking at it from the perspective of what kind of information you're trying to gather, because we're trying to determine whether that information is accessible. So I'm not looking at the method by which you're doing that, your courtesy or whatever, or your command. I'm looking at the skill itself, because that's what he's assisting you with. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. James, can you think of anything better than that?
No, I mean, it's very much the front door, but hey, it's totally what we're interested in. So why not? Let's just be very...
Yeah.
Go straight to the point.
Who would like... So what we're going to make then is the skill will be skullduggery. What are we thinking as the approach? You're going to get a bonus dice or assistance from Denjuro. Either of you can make this roll as well. I guess one way to think about it too is what opportunities might you gain from this roll that you might want to spend? Is there any specific, like water has that one where you can notice other things? Fire makes it easier for someone else's roll. Earth helps you, some other people recover strife. What are you guys thinking?
Probably water.
Having a look, yeah.
Okay.
Probably water.
So you're gonna go for it, or me?
I'm. Let's see what skill. Oh, skullduggery. I've got 1 in it. I would be a 2 and 1.
Yeah, I'm a 3 and 1.
Oh, well then there it is.
Okay. So for the difficulty for this one is probably a 3 as well. So, Gorabe, let's talk about getting void points back and managing strife. You have yet to make use of your passion yet. Your passion is gossip.
Yep. So I guess that's where we could say, is there any talk of Rumika being involved with having the nightmare of
names
of the
Rumika and
Shoko?
Shoko?
Yep, exactly.
And Shoko, okay. So you can clear 3 strife from yourself for indulging your passion for gossip this round. Why don't you give us it's a skullduggery plus water, and then you're going to gain 1 extra skill dice from Denjuro and 1 extra skill dice from Jitsuburo.
Okay, cool.
And you'll be able to keep 5 of those. So that's a lot.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's pretty good.
2 lousy ones, but...
What are you thinking? Are you going to keep all the ones that have successes?
Yep, I'll keep all the successes.
Okay, so give us a reroll.
2 exploding.
Yeah, 1
and 1.
You got it. That's great. So you at least 1 extra. Nice one.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
That's great. So 2 clear successes plus an opportunity. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 strife from it. But you do have an opportunity from this as well. So what he tells you is that he shakes his head. He says, "No, I'm not. I'm aware of the rumors of Shoko's dealings, and would that you were assigned to this task, I would have made you aware of those connections. But I know that the Scorpion has 2 claws, and I am aware that Shoko is quite familiar with other Scorpion members of court, as is Rumiko? Rumika. The Scorpion rarely act alone, and if he sort of grimaces and he says, while I don't, it would not be a difficult task for the Scorpion to request a urgent demand, an urgent reassignment from Shoko. Shoko, from what I know, is not beholden to the Scorpion in any way, which means there would be calling in favors for both Shoko to, if there is any. What I know of him thus far is that he is one who deals with, if there are troubles within his organization, he takes care of them himself. Or so it's said. If he has come to us for help and called in favors for that help to be reassigned in for the way of a magistrate, then there's a great deal of influence that would have been expended in order to have your investigation diverted. So in answer, I do not believe there is a direct line that I'm aware of between Rumika and Shoko. But it does not take me long to imagine how that might occur. You have your opportunity. Anything you want to spend that on?
I want to be mundane because I'm in my in water. I'll keep my stress down. Strife down.
Change of burrow.
Okay, so interesting.
I mean, I assisted, so I don't know what else.
You guys could you could then take a lead on something if you'd like, and then Garby might assist or might do something else. Is there anything else you guys wish to do here?
Trying to think, is there anything we discussed involving our boss during our investigation that's been from some time ago that we think would still profit us?
I'm not sure. I think that's
all the obvious ones. Can't think of, and nothing from your nothing from the wife he can assist with, right? That's all.
No, I don't think so.
Right.
I guess the question would be, what is it that what's the current thing that the Scorpions are involved with that, or on their agenda?
Yeah, I mean, we still don't know any. Gosh, we got like nothing on motive. I mean, aren't we a barren wasteland on motive right now?
Motive?
Meaning, like,
that's what I was going. So
do you mean for the murder,
Scorpions
or
behind?
Yeah, like we don't really know what the whole thing's about. Like, it's a string of murders, but why? Like these wave men. What's going on here? We don't have any. We don't even have a. Do we even have a snippet? Do we even have a nibble on No, I mean, we obviously know the witness was. I mean, the witness is an obvious one that so he can't impart information. But I mean, the top level, like, what's this all about? We're still pretty much devoid, aren't we? So we could ask his opinion on that.
Well, let me put this out.
Well, I guess the question is,
what do you know? What happened leading up to the murder? The victim himself. What was the victim doing? I don't mean specifically on the day of the murder. I mean in general. What's your understanding of what the victim was doing?
Isn't he an employee of the? I was thinking he was an employee of the gambling den.
Seems
that he
like
was killed near.
But that may mean that he was an employee of Rumika. But then what was Rumika after? So that's my question as to what is it.
Well, that's what I'm focusing back. What was he doing?
Scorpion agenda.
What was the Ronin who was murdered? The first one. What was he doing? What task?
Yeah, but that's the bit I'm not at liberty to discuss. So that's the challenge.
Mm-hmm. Are you not sure?
But ultimately, it leads back to why. What was if the Ronin was working for the gang boss? Maybe he was really working for Rumika, and he was killed for doing that. In which case, what was Rumika after? Why was Rumika? They've got an objective. Now I know that he was extorting information, but what information and for what? So I'm going to try.
That changed in the 6 months before the murder, did it not?
Well, it would. They continued to want the information, but also money, right? But the information was a constant.
The information was a constant, and there was a change to getting money. And then what happened after he was killed?
Just back to the information.
That's curious, isn't it?
Well, it sounds like the first Ronin decided to run a side gig of gathering information for his boss, but also making a bit on the side for himself. And then once Rumika found out, potentially he was then eliminated for the side gig. Or somebody else took out the both Ronin.
Let me ask you this. How did you first come to know the name of Sapun Toyoza?
Well, he came to see me.
And what was he What was he inquiring about?
I've just got this vision that you've got two people. Now you've got the two people on the screen. So you've got the one person potentially doing the extorting and the other being extorted, effectively. Vicariously, because they were going through middlemen, or middle women in one case.
So knowing
but
that...
then the Ronin could have... the shinobi could have been working for either of them.
It would be extremely unlikely if there was a Sapun. Sapun are members of an imperial family. As much as the honor of Rokugan is in sometimes a bit of a fiction, the emperor does not make use of ninja or shinobi to enforce his effects, and the Sapun don't. There isn't a stable. No one's ever heard of a stable of shinobi that carry out the emperor's will either. The emperor has enough influence both in the battlefield and through the courts that doesn't need to do underhanded techniques. They are the son of heaven, after all. That said, what is curious, why would Sapun Toyoza come and inquire on the status of the investigation? You've been curious about him investigating the status of a murderer, of a murdered Ronin. It certainly isn't within his rubric or his
It's outside his job description.
well outside, like way. Not only in the question of a murder, but the murder. You're not sure that the Sepun. You'd be surprised if they were aware of the existence of the Toshisoto. Never mind, the individuals who live in it.
Okay, so my theory would be that he knew that his wife was being blackmailed, and therefore he was trying to find out what was going on with that, and therefore, of course, it's outside his professional remit. It's a personal one. So, I was theorizing that he had the guy eliminated and therefore was wanting to see where the trail was leading and hopefully not back to him. Mm-hmm. But if you're saying then that he wouldn't have had the shinobi, then that theory is out the window. It would be very
unusual. What you're unaware of, I think right now, you guys haven't actually looked into Toyoza at all. All you've looked into is you've spoken to his wife and found out about what was going on with her. But that fellow you know nothing about right now.
So, I guess if Toyoza found out about it, that could have triggered the demise of the extorter with the side gig. To have alerted a Sepun.
Was a bad career move.
Right, Rumika couldn't have been happy about that, and so whether it's twofold, both that Sepun found out, who wasn't supposed to know about it, whether there's a side gig or not, the fact that Sepun found out about it is a negative, obviously, for Rumika, assuming Rumika's behind it. And number two, there's a side gig going on, which just makes the point even further that this person, the extorter tool was had finished with their usefulness.
I guess that's the other thing too. How much do you know about the murdered man?
We're talking about the first one, right?
The first one. Yep.
Yeah, that had been. We talked about that before, that we didn't know too much about them, other than our understanding is that they were in the employ of Yotaka, that gambling den that he was found near, and then presumably was in the employment of Yotaka, therefore. Besides that, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
No, I guess the question might be then, what was he before?
Mm-hmm. Before he was a wave man.
Yep.
Or at least before he was, maybe if he had a prior employment.
You guys would know he's not a cast out samurai. There are samurai, there are people who are born to samurai who are wave men, who have the station. He's one of those. He's a natural born wave man. He was never part of someone who was cast out. They're just people who are, by virtue of their birth, they are technically samurai, but they have no, their fathers have no lord, or mothers have no lord. So they enjoy the station of being a samurai, but none of the actual benefits of having a lord
status.
Yeah. And that's what you would know thus far. This is not someone who was part of. He's like many of the others. That second murdered man, also a Ronin, also someone born to, and maybe in their distant past, they're in their lineage, they may have had another family. That's something you could put, or a connection with one of the great clans or one of the minor clans. You definitely could try and investigate that lineage. The Ikoma, the historians of the Lion clan, certainly would be able to share information about that.
So I guess we could ask Denjuro about Toyoza.
Yeah, that makes sense. Pretty simple. And you could just say that because he approached you unsolicited about the investigation, which is curious. That's worth a mention. A Sepun approached you about the investigation of which you'd never heard of him before, and here he comes in asking about it. I think that's perfectly reasonable, right? To ask about, it's a thing. That we're asking because a Sepun approached you out of nowhere about an investigation that he was otherwise uninvolved with. Seems reasonable.
Okay.
Without having to mention anything about extortion and, without having to get into it. That's enough, that's enough to justify the question. I think.
So what is the question that you put to him, Gorbe?
I'd just say, well, one other piece of information you might not be aware of. I'd been approached by Sepun Trioza, who was asking on the progress of the investigation. Of course, given his...
Let's see if he knows who Toyoza is. I get one extra ring. He nods and he says, married to Miyako, a crane. Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, I don't know about his wife, but yes.
No,
Sepun Trioza.
Yes, he approached you.
He did. He was just asking on the progress of the investigation, and I gave him a high-level overview.
What
did he? The level of.
Did he say why he was asking you?
He did not. Have you any thoughts as to why that could be? That's why I thought it was good that you knew, and if you could shed any light. Given the circles you mix in, may have a better idea than.
Well, the members.
Emerald Magistrate.
Sepun is a member, or Toyoza is a member. Toyoza-san is a member of the Imperial Guard. His responsibilities and my own rarely overlap. I'm not certain I've spoken a word to the man, but I am aware of his wife holds great favor in court, a gifted artisan, and found to be by many in the court of the Hantei to be quite charming. His interest, if the guard itself or the throne of the Hantei had interest in this investigation, they would have come through my office's channels. The proper way of approaching this would have been there. What he did is highly unusual and highly inappropriate. Have you found any connection with Toyoza and this murder?
No, none. Other than his interest in it.
You found no connection with the murdered man, the Ronin, and the victim, and Toyoza?
Sadly not. Of course, I'll let you know if I come across anything.
His kind would not be easy. The bearing of one of the family of the Sepun and one charged with guarding the life of the Emperor, they have a bearing that is hard to mask. Perhaps see if he has been seen in the neighborhood, in the district of the Toshisoto where the murder occurred. Perhaps there is some connection between he and the and this murdered Ronin.
Indeed, since he approached you, Gorbei, maybe he's approached others about the matter.
They would be, unless there is something I know, something to the man that I do not know, he would be poorly suited to subtlety. So if he has he approached you since?
No, just the one time.
That is curious. If the member of the guard is compromised by any other clan, and their duty is not solely to guarding the life of the Emperor, this is a great crime, and one that must be exposed.
But can you imagine of any clan that would be interested in doing such a thing?
he once again sits back and he says, I think the one on all of our collective minds. I would not slander, or at the least, members of that. It would not be the first. The Scorpion are bold, but to undermine the integrity of an Imperial Guardsman, that may be a step in cleverness too far to be permitted by the Crown.
It would be very unfortunate for them if that were to be discovered.
It would most definitely. The embarrassment of the Scorpion, I think, would benefit any of its adversaries. And he sort of leaves that to, yeah, who might that be? I don't know. And you still do not know why. We know how he was murdered now, but we don't know the why the assassin struck as of yet. If you can find a connection between this dead Ronin and with Toyoza or his wife, did Kita mentioned there was something recovered from the scene, a brooch. That was a crane colors, was it not?
Indeed. Right, Gorbe?
Hypothetically.
Then, Gorbe-san, as a magistrate, I need not remind you, your obligation is to the Emperor, above all other obligations. Then Toyoza-sama is married to a woman from the Crane clan. Investigate further. See what you can find. If there is a connection between the two, then this web may be more apparent to us once you have a better idea of the connections between those strands, the murdered man and Toyoza.
Indeed.
Okay.
I think our path is laid.
So then, one tidbit just that I think might have gotten lost because of the murders and the assassins and whatnot, to recall that both of the murdered men were staying at the same inn. I believe that was the Koi and Plum. That was the one that Utsu is staying at now, too. A place where what's his name, Udamara, the boss? Yotaka, Boss Yotaka, where he likes to house his people.
Yep. Koi and Plum. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there anything else you guys wish to discuss with Denjuro at this dinner?
I think I've said too much.
Maybe we should get more into that brooch, huh? No,
Which brooch?
Yeah.
I don't know where that ended up.
Mm-hmm. Can't think. Can't think
I'm
of
sure
anything.
it's somewhere safe.
We see Gorbe throwing something into the river. So, if there's nothing else,
probably not.
then we'll conclude.
No, let's.
And I will leave it. We will not be
We'll
able
have
to.
our ice cream and bugger off.
Yeah, you will not be able to. Just head up to the buffet. There's a bar over there. You both will have an opportunity to discuss things as you guys are heading from the Echo Hikai back to the Toshisoto. But is there anything? If there's nothing else, the rest of your evening is just spent discussing, your first Jinsaburo, your first impressions of this, and we'll transition from this scene to the next, which means Jinsaburo, you can reduce your strife down to a 4. All right. Then, as you guys are leaving and making your way through the Echo Hikai, and then heading back to the Toshisoto, then back to your respective places where you'll be staying, you have an opportunity to discuss what you've learned thus far and what you intend to do next. What are you guys thinking? So, Sean, just in a stepping back from the fiction for a moment, do you have a better sense of what sort of the big picture of this crime is now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sort of.
What's that?
Sort of.
Yeah.
We know that it's. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I don't really have anything. Go ahead.
No, 'cause, we know it's this this scorpion. Why? I'm still puzzled as to why he eliminated his own people. Well, you know, the first one could have been because he was going a bit rogue, but I suppose the second because he was in custody. So maybe it's as simple as that.
Well, I mean, the second one, for sure, that's like low-hanging fruit that he was in custody. The first one, presumably because he got discovered by the husband, number one, and number two, because he had a side gig going, which was deemed unacceptable by his master. Those two.
So if you put yourself in the mind of a devious blackmailer, which do you think is easier to conceal? Sharing of secrets or sharing of silver?
Well, secret's a secret, whereas cash gets out onto the market.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the thing that you found? What was the brooch?
Yeah, the coin. Coins in both cases.
Coins in both cases? And then, the brooch itself, too. Do you recall what the particular stylings of it were?
Oh, and
Well,
I guess
it's hinted at the wife, so.
So, you can, I imagine your characters could picture the sort of, honey, why don't you wear that brooch anymore? Scene that may have occurred between husband and wife. That is definitely, the missing brooch is certainly something that would be harder to conceal than the simply sharing of secrets.
Yeah, I mean, which are all part and parcel, of the same theory that that tool had used up its usefulness from his recklessness in the side gig and his discovery, which are connected, obviously. So two reasons that are connected. Discovered possibly because of his recklessness, and because the wife is Crane. Maybe you could look into it from that direction, Gorbet.
I think the question is, we've got to see if we can get him to expose himself. So how do we get him to expose himself?
Meaning the scorpion?
The scorpion, yeah. Because now his two go-betweens seem to be filling up the morgue. So how's he going to carry on whatever he's up to now? He's going to be blackmailing the Imperial Guard, but how's he going to do it? Or more to the point, who's going to do it? Has he got a third Ronin?
What did she describe as the process for sharing the information, for sharing the silver, the blackmailed money?
You'll need to remind me.
So she was just meeting with this person and dropping it off, and then that's the one who informed her at one point that she needed to start supplying money about 6 months ago. And then after he was gone, they said to not bring money anymore and just to drop it off. It was a bagman, though, effectively. I'm not sure you learned yet where that spot was. Where it was she met with them. If there was a same place or a series of places, or how she found out where to go.
I guess I need to go and see her. Again.
Let's see.
We've got to get him to come out of cover so we can catch him in the act somehow. But we've got to be able to... Of course, the bagman's going to be no use. We've got to trace it back somehow.
Would it be useful to convince Toyoza to bring him onto the good side of the cause here? Is that useful? So to see if he's discovered anything, it would, first of all, it would grant us any information he's discovered on his own, rather than him banging around in an area that's not his expertise or his remit. Should we bring him in from the cold on this and, bring him onto the team, not onto the team because he wouldn't have participation, but say, okay, knock it off. What'd you learn? And knock it off. And, we're on it. And then if he's contact or learns anything else, he would, of course, immediately let us know. Or is it more useful to leave him out in the wind, just doing his own thing, and us, even following him or something? Or, I don't know. I'm just, but...
no, it's interesting. Well, you could follow one and I could follow the other. But again, somehow we've got to find out... still not seeing how we expose the scorpion.
Yeah, unless we chase up the... we can find out... I guess, we... The connection is the next extorter. And then follow it up the, obviously the Scorpion did not want us to be able to make contact with the last one he had, killing him in the precinct. And so, maybe we find the next, if we get hold of the next one, then,
or we get bad information passed on and see how that surfaces.
Yeah.
But then the question is, what is it that's being passed on? I don't know what that is. Well, we don't know what that is.
I guess more details
because it's
from
secrets.
the wife.
So secrets about what?
Yeah, and the wife knows, right? I mean, presumably she knows. She knows at least the surface.
What you would know, Gorobe, for certain, just because of having spent a lifetime around the crane and around the and having lived in Otosanuchi, there are constant intrigues going on in the court of the Hantei. There's just there's always stuff that is being discussed. The description of the courts as battlefields and an alternate battlefields is very, very true, because even the approval or the sanction of the emperor for certain offensives and things like that's dictated at court, not on the battlefield. So mighty this line may be, but the reason that they haven't overrun the Crane clans is because of constant outmaneuvering at the court of the Hantei. And having those up-to-date, moment-to-moment insights of what is being said in secret, or what is being valued in secret, even that on a day-to-day basis, that stuff would be valuable for a intriguer on the other side of those things. So it could just be as simple as her providing regular insight to the other side, to be it the Scorpion or whoever else may be of adverse in interest. That's just the nature of the game in court. Bloody and cutthroat. You just don't see the blood or the knives.
So,
Oh, and holy smokes,
So-
now that you think of it too, someone who may have connection, someone who has personal contact with the Emperor on a regular basis. Whew. There's some pretty valuable insights beyond even just what the Crane are up to, or what the Crane know.
so the whole Toyoza branch here, like to find out, maybe find out what he knows, what his own little rogue investigation has discovered, whether we should bring him in from the cold, where his wife met her extorters.
But you don't know that. That's the thing. So
That's what I mean. So these are all leads. These are all potential.
these are all leads. Yeah.
So find out what Toyoza knows, the decision of whether to bring him in from the cold, where did his wife meet her extorters, what nature of information did she pass along. So that's the whole Toyoza. And find out if Toyoza's been seen around the crime scenes. So has he been seen in what's his name?
I think why don't we do that as a starting point? Because we can blow our own gaff here. We need to have a little. Let's see if we can run into him in the district where he really shouldn't be, and that's the chance to go and question him as to what he's up to. Because then you can do it. Because I'm not sure I want to question him on that, given how I ended with him.
Gorobe also has really great connections with the common folk, or at least a good touch with them too. You could ask around, as Denjiro said, like he would not do a good job of blending in. Samurai in general sort of carry themselves with a certain station, and the imperial members of the imperial families would be even more, more of a standout.
Yeah. So let's see in the streets if Toyoza is blundering about. And if he is, then we can bump into him.
Okay.
And he'll be a fish out of water there. So it'll be a bit easier to.
What was his approach to you? Like, what was his reasoning? Like when he approached you and he said what? He wanted to know about your investigation, right?
Yep.
And what was his justification? Like, what did he say his involvement was? What was his?
He didn't. So I just gave him the very high-level public highlights and nothing more.
I mean, I don't know that we need too much justification for finding out why he asked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's got his own. He's got a certain station, so we've got to get him off balance. So if he's blundering around the slums, he's on the wrong foot.
And somewhere in there, we can decide whether to, to bring him all the way in from the outside here.
Well, we'll see how he reacts if we can get him there. Because if we approach him at the guardhouse or at home, then he's on his home turf and he can be a bit more, push off hard help. I'm just guessing. If we turn up on his doorstep, he'll just tell us to go walk it off.
Well, I mean, I prefer not to throw his wife under the bus necessarily. I mean, but the fact that we know about the extortion, kind of puts him on the back foot right there and then. Like, this is part of our investigation now, and this is official. This is official magistrate business, and your wife's being extorted, your family's being extorted.
Well, this is where I have to go. The whole metagame thing is that you don't know I've even met the wife.
Oh, you never.
You don't know about the extortion.
I see. You never filled me in on any of it. Got it. Okay. Gotcha.
But we know that it appears that this is involved somehow with extortion of the husband.
That does put an interesting side sort of goal to the investigation too. Is if Gorobe is now aware that if it is this Scorpion who's behind the blackmailing there's a threat to the crane that is separate. I mean, it is involved with the investigation, but that is a separate part of Gorobei's. I can't remember if it's his. What is it? The two Ninjo and
it's my ninja.
Yeah.
Ninja. Yeah.
So his goal here is to protect the crane, and while she may have married out of them, this in a roundabout way does specifically align with his own sense of duty.
I guess then we should, since you did not update fully Jinsaburo, you should probably tell me what exactly you told him, so I stop doing this. So I know.
Yeah, so
I know what I know.
Yeah, I'll explain. Yeah, so the only thing he just asked me what was going on with the investigation. Given his high rank, I didn't want to tell him to go pound sand, so I gave him the obvious high level, no details information. And he bought off on it because I managed to bullshit him into
Did
accepting
Jinsaburo
it.
know that Gorobei was going to speak? Because I think Gorobei didn't know that the wife was there. Like, you didn't know you were going to be meeting with her instead of Toyozo. So did Jinsaburo know that you were going to go and investigate or speak to Toyoza about this?
I think so. I think I knew you were going to his house.
But then I will have just said that I'll have come back saying I found nothing.
Okay, so there we are.
He was out.
Yeah.
He was out.
So then what do you think Jinsaburo would be? Is there something that Kita said about not trusting Gorobei that is perhaps eating at you at this point?
I mean, probably since the meeting. Like, I mean, it was even since when Gorobei said, let's see, gosh, what was the statement? That Danzuro Sama said, I think it was about the brooch. And he said, it's Crane, right? And then Gorobei said, well, theoretically. And I'm like, theoretically? Like, and
Well,
I think
only half.
I think at that point, that's when my sister's words, may have rang in my head a bit of whether there was any, intrigue here.
So perhaps then...
Oh, not to mention Dan Zaburo's admonition, emphasis on Gorobei, remember where your loyalties lie. Like, now the boss, is, the boss and the sister are ringing the same tune. It's getting a little chorusy. It's getting
I'm
a little...
remembering where my loyalties lie very clearly.
So
That's
perhaps
not
then
even slightly the problem.
we started the session with these two partners getting ready to present a united front and heading into their boss's residence, and we leave with them exiting the Echo Hikai into the Toshi Soto and heading in different directions, literally and perhaps metaphorically. So that's awesome. Then let's award some XP for today, guys. And then we will call it back. So we will be back in this session, or this campaign, in 2 weeks' time. And then the one after that is the one where I'll be on vacation. But give me a sec here. Let's see.
You said the next one's on?
The next one is on, yes. Yeah, in 2 weeks' time, I still am here. But I will be on vacation 2 weeks after that. Let's see here. XP. Great session, guys. Really good job on the... handling the intrigue. I know it's a different way of approaching the things. When you're trying to actually bully someone, like if you confronted the Scorpion in as an example, is a place where violence isn't necessarily going to break out. That's where you can try and force you keep an eye on their strife and their whatever, so you could try and push them into unmasking and perhaps admitting something they didn't want to. Mm-hmm. So normally it's 1 XP per hour of play. I think you guys role-played the hell out of this and did some really good progress on piecing together your where you stand in this, the mystery of the Lament for Lovers and Liars. So why don't we say 5 XP for today?
All right.
Okay. And then for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for Chapter 8 of the Lament for Lovers and Liars campaign. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please do not hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where we have a channel dedicated to the Five Rings game, as well as a bunch of other, most of the other games we run on the channel, and a bunch of other great channels too. Tons of great people over there, tons of great conversations, and a bunch of knowledge as well. So if you're looking for advice or information about different games, there's some a great wealth of terrific folks over there who know a lot and are happy to share that information. In addition, there's a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages. That's the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really great organization active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphan and abandoned children. And as a couple of small ways of saying thank you. First off, all money that's donated through that link goes directly to SOS Children's Villages International. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help out the kids who benefit from their services. And as a small way of saying thank you, for one, we have our next charity raffle in December of 2022. And for every $25 Canadian that you donate, you'll get one chance to win the grand prize or one of the other great prizes in the next raffle. In addition, if you have donated since June of 2022, you will get an opportunity to vote in our next charity session. So our next charity session will be at the end of November, and we'll be playing a channel favorite, Conan Adventures in an Age Undreamed Of, published by Modiphius Entertainment. And in the weeks leading up to the session, we'll be having people who have donated since June of 2022 voting to tell us what kind of game it's going to be. We'll help shape what the actual one-shot adventure is going to be about. We did that last time with our one-shot playing Eden Studios' excellent All Flesh Must Be Eaten RPG, and that was a lot of fun seeing that come together, so we're going to do the exact same thing. And we may have a charity session in December as well, too. We haven't decided yet on that, but there is a chance of that as well. And if there is going to be voting, then donors will also get a chance to vote on that. In addition, there's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. They also have a wide selection of new RPGs, board games, and card games, but my reason I like them and they came to my attention in the first place was because of the huge selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs that they offer. If they don't have something in stock, you can most often put it on a want list, and they will send you an email when it comes in stock. And if you make any purchase of $10 or more through their store, enter the code MUSINGS at checkout, and you will save yourself 10% on your purchase. The last thing I'll say is a huge thank you to our two stalwart magistrates. So Sean and James, thanks so much for such a terrific session. Congratulations on being able to continue the... or successfully convincing your boss to allow you to continue the investigation, and for role-playing the, I don't want to say rift, but the bit of tension between the two characters at this point is that I think is part of the fun of this game, is the contest between what you want to do and what you're obliged to do, and you guys did a great job of role-playing that between your two characters, so thanks for that. Last thing I will say, I guess, is then we will be back in 2 weeks' time, back in the streets of Otosanuchi, the mean streets of Otosanuchi. And until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and see the troubles that our heroes are navigating in the conversations and courts of Rokugan. Until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.